Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to the March episode of Beauty News. Is that right? What month are we in?
Yes.
I don't know. Good.
Yes, we reflect on the month. Yes, so it's March.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we're reflecting on March and all of the beauty news that happened this month. We've seen some interesting releases. Something I do want to point out before we get into what we've picked out is, was there like 50 million blush releases this month, or was that just me? Was my Instagram algorithm just drowning me in blush releases? There were so many. We will talk about.
To be fair, we're only talking about one though. So
yes, that's correct. There's one that has interested us. But something else that caught our eye this month, and probably caught a lot of your eyes, if you are keeping track of indie brands, we saw two brands announce closure. One kind of a bit different. So the first one that we saw was Suva Beauty. They announced that they were closing down. They did post a little video on Instagram, and they did post a longer video on YouTube, which I guess we'll link if you want to go and watch it.
So when it comes to the reasons of closing down, two that were mentioned was that one of their biggest stockists closed down last year, which happened, we believe it's Morphe. So the Morphe stores stocked Suva Beauty, and Morphe stores closed down instantly, one day they were open, the next day they were closed all around the US. So that would have been a big hit in terms of how many sales they were making. They would have dropped off completely. But and also exposure. The founder's dad had a heart attack, and it made her sort of reassess things as well. So it sounds like a mix of sort of personal and also financial reasons.
The next one is JD Glow. Now, they announced that they will be, I'm going to read this from directly what they've said. We will be closing JD Glow soon and reopening as a new company with a new name. Now, we will put up the full post here, so if you want to read it, you can pause and have a look. But they mention a California Prop 65 violation allegation, which they are being sued for. Now, I had a little bit of a look into this to understand what it is, and basically in California, they have a list of ingredients or chemicals or whatever that if you have them on the premises of your property or in a product that you sell, you have to have a what's it called? A declaration that that ingredient has been shown that it can cause cancer. It can be carcinogenic. And basically they don't have that on their products, and their products were being provided to Californian customers. Therefore, they got in trouble. Yeah, they got in trouble for it. Now, I had another little deep dive, and I didn't go too deep into this. I think if you find it interesting, I'd recommend that you just go and read the comments. I didn't have time to read thousands of comments from people. Apparently, it's actually a law firm that just goes around and does this to companies. They just they start up little lawsuits and sue them for damages, basically, which I think is
shit.
It's a bit shit. It's very shit. So they are closing down JD Glow, but they do actually plan on reopening under a new name, and I would only assume, I'd only be able to assume that, knowing what they know now, they will do things a little bit differently, and they will have those warning labels on
or avoid those
their
ingredients.
Products, or avoid those ingredients completely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into the actual releases. This is from Burt's Bees, and when I saw this, I was like, I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner. They are releasing new lip sleeping masks. They're going to be like the Laneige ones, I can only assume, but from Burt's Bees. They come in little pots, and I think the weirdest thing about these are the flavors. You've got lavender vanilla, yuck, and you've got Moonlight Orchid, which I can only assume, I think it's orange. They show some form of orange-coloured citrus. Yeah. Now, I think the lavender vanilla one is like, just no thank you. I cannot imagine having, I hate lavender. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry.
I hate it too.
Yeah, it triggers my migraine, so I already have like an aversion to it. I can stand it for a little while, but I couldn't imagine having that on my lips and being like,
but it's also an irritant,
lavender.
so I don't know. I understand the thought process behind putting lavender in it because it's supposed to be calming, and you see all the like sleeping sprays and sleeping stuff having lavender in it. But for most people, it not for most people. For some people, it's an irritant, and it is not pleasant. I agree with you. I would totally try these. I like the original lip balm, so if this was a better scent profile, I would give them a try because I use sleeping masks every night. But with this, I am not enticed at all by any of the scents whatsoever.
No. I feel like maybe what they've done with this is they've tried to go like calming and relaxing and zen, and just like totally ignored the fact that you have to have this on your lips overnight for like 8 hours plus. So,
and most people are shouting, going, "Give me cupcake sprinkle unicorn fun!"
Like, do it. That's what I want. Give me that, please.
Okay, I don't really like to show sneak peeks too much because it's boring and it means we have to talk about it later anyway. But this one got a lot of people talking. So a creator, which the name is on the screen, so I don't know if that person got in trouble or not. I don't know. But they were showing a new Pokemon and Cocoa Pops.
Colourpop is now known as Cocoa Pops.
Oh shit, you can tell I've been up since 5 a.m. Colourpop and Pokemon collaboration. So we don't know much about it, but it will be coming. It does look official, and they have been doing collaborations with a lot of sort of anime, sort of cartoon Japanese properties. So this is exactly what, I could imagine this happening. They're going to throw money at it, and it's going to do really well. It's going to be really boring, but they're going to do really well, and people are going to be angry. It's going to make the internet angry, and there's no two ways about it. People are going to leave pissed off.
It's going to be really popular and really boring, and people are going to throw their money at it. They're going to be angry.
Be furious.
Okay, let's move on to Kaleidos. They've done something a little bit different. We don't have a makeup release.
So different.
So different. They've released hair dyes, and finally I can talk about it. I tried these months ago, like last year. For proof, here are my color swatches. The little bags are in my bathroom. So what they're releasing is 6 colors along with a dilution shade, and the dilution shade actually does, if you have like bleach blonde hair, it does actually tone the color a little bit as well. It's got a purple, like lavender, very soft lavender base to it. Along with that, they're releasing a whole bunch of hair dye application tools, I suppose. There's a brush, an application comb, there's clips, a mixing bowl, and there's also what appears to be a Kaleidos designed hair clip with like the lady
uterus.
Parts, the uterus design. That's it. So this, I believe, is out now and available on the Kaleidos website. What I can say about my experience with these hair dyes is they are super intensely like pigmented. They're vibrant colors. When I used it, we even diluted the color quite significantly. And they fade out quite nice as well. I had like an orangey pink color in my hair. We mixed some shades together, and there's not really any traces of it left in my hair now, and this is going on 6 months it would be now. So yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Kaleidos hair dyes.
Do you know what? I think that it works. I feel like hair dyes and particularly ordering hair dyes on the internet is like the way you do it. Like everyone knows if you want to have a really punchy, colourful hair dye, you don't go down to your local salon or something. You have to order them online, and there's a lot of big brands that have come out with them in the past 5 or 6 years. So it makes sense for them, and they're also really well known for colour. I just feel like it just is like ringing in my ears like lime crime.
Oh.
That's all I'm feeling is lime crime started with lots of colours and fun, and then they went into hair dyes and hairsprays. But I just feel like that parallel, it's like you can't avoid it. You can't avoid talking about lime crime when you're talking about makeup and hair dye together.
That is true. And I do agree with you. Like they're certainly not the first makeup company to do it. But I feel like for a lot of people, and like I guess I am one of those people, for a long time there, I was the crazy hair, bright color makeup girl. And I feel like the two can be very synonymous. So they work with brands. Now, obviously, if you like brightly colored makeup, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to have brightly colored hair or vice versa, but the two can work together very well. So
they often complement really well. So if you have bright coloured hair, you often need to wear bright coloured makeup to balance the hair, if that makes sense. So it does work. It does make sense. The next thing Hailey's going to talk about as well, because we pick things individually to talk about, and at the moment it's front loaded with Hailey stuff. So
it is.
I'm just sitting here being like, but I'll talk a lot at the end. So
we're going alphabetical, and mine just happened to be in this order. Lisa Eldridge. She released some new products. One of them is a complexion product and another is a lip liner. I might just go over the lip liner really quickly because I don't think it's particularly interesting. So they call these the Sculpt and Shape lip pencils. They're $28 each. They have a blurring matte soft focus finish in skin true natural lip tones. There is 4 neutral shades, 3 cool shades, and 3 warm shades. I think this is just, it's a product to like add to her brand catalog, I suppose. The next one is skin tints, which I also think is, I guess it's a bit on trend. It's very on trend for Lisa Eldridge. She always uses these types of products. They're called the Seamless Skin Enhancing Tints, and they're $49. They call it a hybrid formula, which is meant to even tone, lift shadows, tone down redness, and boost luminosity. Comes in 18 shades. The darkest shade looks to be very dark, which is good. And makes some pretty big claims, I think. They say it's an ultra lightweight texture that delivers a burst of hydration while simultaneously delivering blurring pigments to perfect and even the skin tone. The skin is soothed, smoothed, and strengthened. And it has a crease-proof formula. So there's some big claims, and they definitely make the perfect skin models look very perfect. But look, I
love the claims of even tone, lift shadows, and tone down redness. Like, those are things that I need in my life. When it comes to a base product and you're spending, so this is $49 US. So we're probably going to be spending like $80 on a skin tint. If I get the wrong shade or there's something that doesn't work with my skin, I'm going to be furious. So I'm less inclined to buy this, but it does sound like it's magic in a bottle. I want to see reviews to see if it is magic in a bottle, and then I might order the wrong shade online and then get furious anyway.
I think the thing that sort of just makes me side-eye this a little bit, like, don't get me wrong, I like what I've tried from Lisa Eldridge. I think if anything was to ever fall flat with the things that I've used from Lisa Eldridge, it's typically a packaging thing, but formula I really like. But when they say that, it like soothes the skin, smooths the skin, and it's meant to even the tone, brighten shadows or lift shadows, and tone down redness, from a skin tint, like, I feel like it's a very loaded claim, and you have to go, okay, but it's a tint. It obviously doesn't have a lot of coverage, and even some products that do have a medium coverage still can't really cover the dark circles and the redness a whole lot. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I don't believe that it doesn't help to a degree, but I feel like when you make those claims, in my mind, I think, oh, it's going to perfect. And I don't think it is. I think it's more that it's going to assist to a degree.
All right, the next thing is from Lunar Beauty. So Manny MUA, he's launched a new collection. This is the Moonshroom collection. So it's very fairy garden, probably under the moonlight, eating mushrooms. It looks very sort of colourful and psychedelic on the outside when it comes to the packaging, but it sort of is very earthy and bland. We've got the bloody Neapolitan ice cream back in terms of the highlighter palette and also the lip glosses. Yeah, so there is an eyeshadow palette which is the sort of standard format, very yellow heavy. If you like yellows and earth tones, this is going to be your jam. If you're unsure, avoid. This is the whole top row is mustardy yellows. Yeah, which is interesting move. Then you've got the 4-pan highlighter palette. I'm big into highlighters again, but these sort of Neapolitan palettes, they continue to annoy me even years down the track because no, the person that suits one shade isn't going to suit another shade, and it's just wasted. Like duos would be better or something like that. And then you've got the lip glosses that are like a shiny clear, a shiny pink. They're shimmery, and then like a caramel shade. So they're all available now. I think the theme is really cool. I like how he sort of is finding new twists on Moon because he's very Lunar Beauty.
I agree.
But this one, I think on the first impression, I'm like, that's a cool palette. I quite like those sort of earthy tones. And then I look at swatches and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's different.
Yeah, look, I don't like the palette. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think it's particularly interesting. I'm also not a huge fan, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, it'll probably never ever change. I'm not really a fan of a palette that's not well balanced with the amount of mattes and shimmers, and this one has 12 mattes and 6 shimmers, and I just think
Manny does it a lot though. He's done that his whole
it's not for me. I think it just doesn't interest me, to be honest.
Fair.
And yeah, I don't like the highlight quad. I'm just not into Neapolitan. I'm not into this as a consumer item. This is a makeup artist, like professional makeup artist who's using these products on other people's faces. And I just don't really see that. Yeah, it's not for me.
I agree.
But like you said, I like that he's still managing to find lunar, moon themed things that he can create.
All right, the next thing is from MAC. Now, this is a collection that has launched fairly early in Australia, actually. I think Trend Mood was showing it, and then I saw Australian creators talk about it on TikTok like within a week or something. So I think it launched here pretty early. But it is the Teddy Forever collection. It is a Velvet Teddy colour-inspired collection. Now, I love Velvet Teddy. It is one of my favourite sort of creamy matte formulas, colour. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And a lot of people love it. Now, I've heard a few people say, this is, Kat, like, check it out. Like, Velvet Teddy in a collection. And I sort of hate it. Now, I'll go through the products, but I'll tell you why I sort of hate it. So this was sort of the Pillow Talk colour before Charlotte Tilbury had Pillow Talk. It's essentially the same colour, just a different formula. And Charlotte Tilbury managed to, like, make collections upon collections upon collections with that colour. So it's a bit strange that MAC has had this formula for decades and this colour for decades and has slept on it, but they're finally sort of coming to the party in a weird way. in this collection, there's two sort of face and eye palettes. These look clunky and like kids' makeup. So I don't think this looks luxe. They've got this like filigree design. So it's all the packaging is this Velvet Teddy sort of pinky brown color with this gold or rose gold sort of design on it to make it look a little bit fancy. But then they come through with this like clunky box kids makeup.
Yeah, Kmart face palette.
Yeah, it's horrible. So it's an eyeshadow quad, and then you move it to the side, and I believe it's a highlighter underneath, and you can get a light or a deeper shade variety. Then you have the Locked Kiss ink in Velvet Forever, which is a Velvet Teddy shade. What people are very excited about is actually the lip pencil in Teddy Forever. Because again, Mac, what the fuck are you doing? You've had this popular shade for decades and you didn't make a complimentary lip liner for it? What is wrong with you? But anyway, they finally have it now. In 2024, Velvet Teddy has been popular for decades and decades. Then they've got various eyeliners, so pencil eyeliner, liquid eyeliner, they've got mascara, they've got finishing spray, and they've got different formulas of lipsticks. So they've got the Luster Glass, the Retro Matte, both in that Teddy Forever shade, which is Velvet Teddy. And then they've got the Prep and Prime Lip, which is a clear lip primer. Now, you might go, okay, how did they make the lip primer tinted? That would actually be pretty cool. They didn't. It's clear. The mascara is black. The liquid liner is black. And the shade of the pencil liner is called Sick Tat Bro. I think if you're going to go this theme, you got to go a little bit harder on it. Like, you could make this Velvet Teddy rosy brown into a deeper version and have it actually as the liquid liner, the pencil liner, and the mascara to be a sort of rosier toned dark brown. You could actually go and do it, but instead they've just repackaged a whole bunch of shit with what I consider this fairly ugly packaging. And then they're just like, oh, well, Velvet Teddy lovers are going to lap this up. Well, I think some items they have, because some items are very handy. So to have a complimentary lip liner to one of your favorite lipstick shades makes a lot of sense. But the rest of this just feels so lazy. I hate it.
I've got a lot to say about this collection, but I have to go to the MAC website because when you just said that the lip liner is called Sick Tat Bro.
The eyeliner. The eyeliner.
Oh, the eyeliner. Okay, all right. So because I understood, like, okay, you've taken an old eyeliner and like repackaged it, but my God, really? Hang on, is that? Oh. Why are they doing that? Oh God. It's so cringe.
So I can understand they're like, why reinvent the wheel? We've got them. Let's just put them in new packaging. But the reason you try to innovate is because this looks fucking lazy and people have this already. And if they love Velvet Teddy and they want that monochromatic look that we've all been told is the trend of the year, why not have a blush in Velvet Teddy? Why not have a liquid liner in a rosy brown? Why not have, like, brown mascaras coming back? Make it a rosier dark brown. Like, they could have made this really beautiful. Instead, it just feels so half-assed.
Yes.
And I'm angry as a Velvet Teddy lover.
When I saw this, I was a bit like, okay, you're so late to the party, Mac. Like, you've never really been one to follow the trends that the other brands are doing, where you're like, you know, NARS with their orgasm, and everything is orgasm constantly. Like, at least once a year we get an orgasm themed collection, or Charlotte Tilbury with her pillow talk. You know, you don't feed into that, but then when you do it badly. I also agree, the face palettes look like Kmart kids makeup crap. And I appreciate that they have released a range of products that, I mean, they're at least inspired by Velvet Teddy. We don't know if the colors are going to be exactly the same, in different lip formats. So you've got like, you know, a liquid lipstick, you've got a luster glass and a lip gloss and a lip liner and stuff like that. So I think it's really good that they've done that because it's a popular color. It's a beautiful color. It's so wearable. And did you know Velvet Teddy actually looks different on everyone? Like it's a nude shade that two people can be wearing and you won't even be able to tell that they're wearing the same color because of the way that it plays against your own personal coloring. So it's a very interesting shade. But yeah, God, sick tat, bro. All right, let's talk about Milk makeup. When I saw this, I was like, you have my attention. They've released a primer, but this is a foam primer. So it is like one of those hand washes where it's a liquid and you press the pump and it comes out as a foam. That's what this is. Have we ever seen that before? I don't think I have. I don't know if you guys can tell me of a brand that's done it. Get in the comment section and tell me because I want to go and have a look. It's called the Cloud Glow Primer. And they say it's a cloud-like foam texture that goes on clear, instantly preps the skin to create a breathable, smooth base for makeup. It brightens, hydrates, and evens skin tone so your skin's natural glow comes through. Very interesting. I want to try it. I actually do. And that's coming from someone who believes primer is mostly a scam. Not really. It's more nuanced than that. But the crux of it is that it's coming soon. It may actually be out by the time that you're watching this. So
interesting. Yeah. I think of the Shiramura ones that were in the can that would spray out.
Yes.
But no, I haven't seen the pump like the
foam.
The hand wash sort of pump foam. No,
it's
it looks
very
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is a palette release. This is from Nomad Cosmetics. This actually launched around St. Patrick's Day, which makes a lot of sense. So Nomad Cosmetics, they bring out sort of country or area themed palettes, and this one is Island, so it's called Island Wild Atlantic Way, which is I think that's a very strange name, but I've never been there. I do not understand. All I do know is that this is an 18-pound palette. It's not limited edition. They do promise to have it for at least 12 months, so if it obviously sells well, they're going to keep it in stock. If it doesn't, they'll phase it out. $49 and it's already out. It is Green Lovers palette, very, very green. We talked about this in our live chat, so that's what brought my attention to it. Yeah, if you love sort of cooler toned greens, so like jade greens, emerald greens, you really like this. They've got a couple of dark blues, so navy, shimmery blue, and they've got some really metallic shades as well. So they look like almost, I think of like coins, so like a copper coin, a gold coin, a silver coin. So I feel like this is a really cool vibe if you like greens. If you don't like greens, then this is not for you. But I think it's a fun one.
Yeah, look, I don't like green, so I would never buy this. But I can tell you now, reading the names is reminding me of my trip with Dad. The picture on the palette is the Cliffs of Moher. Absolutely beautiful place. And I think why they call it the Wild Atlantic Way is because it's like that sort of coastal side of, I don't know if that's like the name that they give it, but yeah, I think like I think if you like greens, this is pretty decent selection of colors, and the supporting colors that aren't green I'd say would work quite well with the shades in the palette.
But it also works with the theme as well. Like you think of some like, okay, I want to say stereotypical sort of Irish things, and I feel like it works well with it. Whereas we saw they had that New Zealand palette a couple of months ago, and I'm like, this does not make me feel like it's New Zealand at all. So, so at least if the colours, like if you don't go, I don't really want a copper on the lid and a green in the crease, you can definitely make it work. But at the same time, it sort of makes sense. And I've heard a lot of people that either have visited the area or live there and go this it makes sense. It
does.
They might not like green, but it makes sense.
It
so
does.
I think it's a fun one.
It's like it ticks that box for me too, where it just looks right.
All right, next one. This is probably, if I was to buy one thing from this episode, it's probably going to be these.
This is what it would be? Yeah.
Yes, it is. This is a sort of a sneak peek or something that they're showing from Rare Beauty. This is coming out on the 28th of March, so right at the end of the month. Essentially, they were talking about if we took our liquid blushes and our powder highlighters and put them together, what would we create? And essentially, it is the Soft Pinch Luminous Powder Blush. So there will be 6 shades. One is called Cheer, which is Selena's custom shade. It's a light warm pink. They're supposed to be lightweight glowy blushes with buildable, seamless and silky color to keep you beaming all day. Now the reason why I love these is because I am lazy. I like a bit of color in my cheeks, but I also like a bit of glow, and having one product that you can sweep over your cheeks and you've got that sort of highlighter glow effect. Also, if you've got oily skin, which is me, and you find that like liquid or cream blushes, even though you like that shine effect, it wears down your makeup really easily throughout the day and isn't reliable that it's going to last. This is a beautiful way to mimic that effect without much hassle or drama. And so I love this. I want to see more brands bring out highlighting blushes. Bare Minerals did it last year. I've got one. It's beautiful. Some of the Bobbi Brown ones can be used as like if you get those sort of blushy shades of highlighters. Some of them are really, really gorgeous. I'm just happy to see more of them. So we see so much blush being released, but it's often leaning towards the really pigmented blushes, the really creamy blushes, the really liquidy blushes. And I feel like this is an area that doesn't get tapped into much, and I'm thrilled that it's becoming more of a thing.
I think these are really pretty, and I agree with you. I like a glowy blush. They're kind of my like go-to because it does 2 jobs in one, and they always look beautiful. So yeah, nice. Okay, we've got 2 releases from Too Faced. Gonna start with the Chocolate Soleil Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Sticks. So these are their chocolate bronzers in a stick form, and I can only assume that they smell like chocolate. I
would assume so, yes. Knowing their track record.
Yes, soft focus, natural skin with a medium buildable finish, natural looking second skin warmth and dimension, and it's meant to blend easily. They're retailing for $35 US. I wonder, okay, I know this is random, but I know that their chocolate bronzer, the powder itself, it actually did taste a bit like chocolate because it had cocoa in it. I wonder if these do as well, and how many people are going to be eating their bronzer. How many people will we see on TikTok taking a bite out of these cream bronzers and saying that they taste nice?
Yes, they'll probably be licking them. I do agree, but I do agree those bronzers did taste nice because I... Not purposefully, but you know when you're like dusting them on and you get a bit of a whiff in your mouth and you're like, oh, that's nice and sweet.
The same with the peach. Yeah, it's same with the peach powder. That's, you know, you powder in your face and then you're like, oh, wow, it actually tastes like peach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Move over Jessica Simpson. We've got some edible makeup here.
Correct.
I'm just going to say with this, it feels super, super, super old. Like they should have done this 10 years ago. What they should have done is brought out these bronzer contour sticks 10 years ago when the sharp contouring was a thing. And then these days they should have brought out like pan or like little pot cream versions because that's what's popular at the moment. So this is firstly a huge gap in their range. They're finally filling it, but they're filling it with something that's really outdated. So I find this really confusing, but it's going to sell well because those bronzers always were quite popular. Yeah,
I agree. This is so late to the party. It's like, what are you even doing? But I think this is what happens when Estee Lauder owns brands. They are so bogged down with like a hierarchy of getting things released that by the time they come out, they're already irrelevant. And they were irrelevant like a year ago.
Even before they were sold and even before Jared left, and was still like the creative sort of
He
brains
should have
behind
been
it.
doing
He
this.
should have done this. Like this,
Yeah,
this is
I
a
agree with you.
decade old. But they've also brought out Born This Way mini eyeshadow palette. So there's 2 color stories here. There's Warm Embers Nudes, which is a little bit more berry and a little bit more sort of, there's some sort of, I guess, burgundy sort of tone shades in there. And there's also the Cold Smolder Nudes, which is, again, nude. Like there's caramel tones in there, champagne tones, but then there are some that are lean a little bit more grey. Now, I quite like this just because I really liked their first Born This Way palette. I thought it was beautiful, and I like the idea of having these little compact ones simply because I find that I don't know about you, Hailey, but when I do reach for that palette, I use the same shades over and over again. So if it was condensed down.
Yeah, I do it with 90% of my eyeshadow palettes. Yes,
Yeah.
I totally get you. Yeah, I think, I don't think it's a terrible idea that they're doing it. It wouldn't be enough for me to be enticed to buy them, but I don't hate them. And I do agree with Kat. Like, often with eyeshadow palettes, like there's a pocket of shades that I always gravitate to. And I think if you look at the shades in this palette or either of these palettes and they are shades that you know you will use, then absolutely, it's a great idea. Like, and I've been saying smaller is better or less is more with eyeshadow palettes for ages. So I don't hate this, but I just wouldn't buy it. But that's because I'm not buying any eyeshadow palettes. It's not to do with these being crap.
That's true. And I quite like the formula of this, the original one anyway. The second one we got I didn't like.
Yes,
Second one I didn't like.
That would be something that I would be worried about as well, because I feel the same about Kat on this one. I liked the original Born This Way palette, but the second one, something about it, the formula was just shit for some reason. They dropped the ball.
All right, the last thing is another foundation announcement. This is actually from Urban Decay. Now, they did phase out some of their old formulas, and I know that people that loved it were like frantically trying to buy them online, but they're making way for this new formula. So this is the Face Bond Waterproof Liquid Foundation with Niacinamide. Now, the with niacinamide, I know alienates a few people because having like an active in there can irritate some people. So
yes, that's right.
This rules out a lot of people, which is a risk of putting skincare into foundations. But look, there's a few things I like about this and a few things that really annoy me. Firstly, they're calling it a 3-in-1. So it's a foundation, serum and setting powder. So it's a foundation with niacinamide in it. So that's annoying. It's supposed to deliver buildable medium coverage, which I like. That's great. It does have 3% niacinamide. So it's still a fair whack of niacinamide. So it's not like they're just putting it on the label to put it in the marketing. It actually does contain quite a lot. It is self-setting and it absorbs sweat and oil, offering a natural finish for up to 24 hours. Now, if this wasn't cakey and like dry and mask looking, I will be so keen to try this because as someone with oilier skin, I find that before filming this, I'm not shitting you, Hailey, I had makeup on for only like 4 hours something. I had to like wipe it all off my nose because it was breaking down with the oils. So if this, and also if it self-sets, the good thing about it is I have to really powder my base because that's the only way I can have my makeup stay on my face. But I also don't like the look of overly powdered makeup. So if there is a foundation that's supposed to be lightweight, supposed to absorb sweat and oil, but doesn't transfer and move, you can have it looking a little bit more dewy and natural without having to powder the absolute heck out of it. So yeah, waterproof, sweat-proof. It's supposed to be resistant to smudging and transferring, 40 shades, vegan, cruelty-free. So it sounds very interesting. I'd totally want to try this. Nothing that annoys me though is they show you like you can use it in different ways. So it's saying 3 ways to apply: brush for buildability, fingers for max coverage, and sponge for blending. Every foundation can be applied that way. Every foundation, even if it's a powder foundation, you can somehow get away with applying it all these damn ways. So the fact that they're using this as like, look, they must be trying to market this to like entry-level foundation users.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But I don't think entry-level foundation users are going to come to this foundation, to be fair.
No, they're not.
I want to try it, though.
Entry-level foundation users are not going to buy how much is this going to cost? Like $40 US?
Yeah, they're going to use CoverGirl or something.
Yeah, exactly. I like the claims. You know, as someone who was previously oily skinned, I can see why this would be super enticing. And I can see why Kat wants to try it. Even I'm curious. Like, if you buy it, I'm watching that review, basically. I think the lighter shades, it comes in 40 shades, which is good. I think the lighter shades look dry and textured on the skin.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the the fair shades, they're calling them, look drier on the skin. The light and medium shades, come on phone, you can do this. Light, medium, and medium deep and deep shades, they look better on the skin. So I wonder if those fair shades have like a white pigment in them. The white pigment always fucks everything up.
There was a Maybelline product, and it was like a 3-in-1 illuminating foundation concealer thing that I reviewed and panned because I hated it. Same thing happened. I got a really light shade and a slightly deeper shade. The light one looked chalky and patchy. And then all of a sudden I went a slightly deeper shade and that looked a lot more seamless. So I think there must be a thing with like white pigment looking dry and sort of I don't know. I do agree with you. And that's also what concerns me, because in the winter months, I get quite dehydrated. And so even though I can be oily, I get like creasy in my forehead and like lines around here.
Yeah.
And if I then have foundation that settles in and emphasizes that, I'm like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I would get a sample of this and try it first. But that is definitely a fair observation. And the good thing is though, that these days a lot of brands don't heavily Photoshop swatches. So you can see that and you can sort of be a bit more aware of what you're sort of getting into, which is helpful. Yeah,
it's a good release. And I quite like the packaging. I think it looks like it really gives you good control out of like how much you're going to dispense. You're not like, you want a tiny bit, well, you get one pump or you can pour it out on your hand. Yeah, I like it.
It also shows how liquidy it is. There's a video here that shows that it's very, very liquidy. So it should be very, very lightweight on the skin, which is great.
That's good. Awesome. So that is it for this month's episode of this. I think we're both tired. That's it for this month's episode of Beauty News. If you have anything to share about the products that we talked about today, let us know down in the comments. Or if there's anything else that caught your eye and you have thoughts about it, you want to share that with us, feel free. Comment section, all yours. We do hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we want to thank you for joining us. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Make the YouTube algorithm happy, and we will catch you guys. Yes, the YouTube gods, pray to them. We will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.